He was like our own little Finding Nemo adventure through the United States, but like getting to watch them experience the people and the food and watching the Scots basically drink Boston out of alcohol and watching them experience Waffle House the way that we experience, like, ancient things in their countries. And we're like, this is the most amazing thing ever. And they're like, this is the most amazing thing ever. It it has healed the world.
Hi, welcome to Say More Words, a podcast that was created to emphasize the human experience through stories. I hope that you come here to learn, to expand, and most importantly, learn how to say more words. Speak your story, speak your truth, boo boo. We're so happy you're here.
Hi, friends. It's been a minute. The last time I talked to you, it was Maycember, and now somehow it's the middle of June. And well, the song of the day, let's start there. Song of the day is Africa by Shakira, because I just keep singing it. The one time for Africa. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's the song of the day. And I've been MIA. I have had kids home for the summer. And the main topic for today, the Great American International Cousin Sleepover that has been going on, has completely consumed my life. It turns out that I now like soccer. I am just as shocked as you, but I do. And I did not say this yet, but you're getting ready with me this morning um, on this episode back because life is crazy and this is the only time I can record. So, welcome. The Great American International Cousin Sleepover. I have been to a World Cup. I've been to a Rugby World Cup. Loved it. Loved the experience. It is not what is happening with soccer. I'm just going to say it. And I might get struck down by the rugby gods, and I'm totally cool with it. Uh, this World Cup has been an emotional, a spiritual, all of the things experience. One, I now learned that I like soccer. I love the ambiance, the experience. I like soccer the way I like golf, right? I love the ambiance. I love the experience. I love the outfits. I am wearing a Columbia shirt. At the time of recording, Columbia has been kicked out, or not kicked out, eliminated. But I love the experience. I love that Dallas Fort Worth was one of the hosting cities. So I got actually invited down to Texas Live for one of the games and to experience it and experience sports there because I've been there for like post Rangers games and stuff like that or post concerts, but nothing like what the World Cup has been uh, doing and producing. I just and like why I wanted to talk about it. So if you follow me on any of the socials, you've seen that I like am sharing all of the stuff for the World Cup, like all of the memes and stuff. And I think, the common theme that I'm pretty obsessed with is the fact that like all of these people are coming to America and they're treating, all the people from international are coming to America for this sporting event. And they're even admitting, like, their countries were like, be careful in America. Don't go to the World Cup. It's a dangerous place. Blah, 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 blah. They're awful people. Like, they're telling us that their countries are saying that, just like our country says that about them. And then they get here and they're like, this is awesome. I fell in love with Freddie, just like the rest of the world. He was like our own little Finding Nemo adventure through the United States, but like getting to watch them experience the people and the food and watching the Scots basically drink Boston out of alcohol and watching them experience Waffle House the way that we experience, like, ancient things in their countries, and we're like, this is the most amazing thing ever, and they're like, this is the most amazing thing ever. it it has healed the world. That's the big thing that they keep talking about. The big thing I keep sharing is about how the World Cup is healing the world. Like, um it's like having the cousins that you never get to see over, and you don't ever get to see them because your parents hate each other and talk bad about each other. So you think they're awful people, but then you get to hang out with them and you're like, this is awesome. This is amazing. It has been the coolest experience watching it from a social lens of like how it's healing the world, how it's healing people, what the world thinks about America. Now, granted, the U.S.'s last soccer game was the most disappointing thing I've ever seen. Um, but, so like maybe we're not good at soccer, but we're good at hosting a party and bringing people together. It's just been the coolest thing to watch. And then also, I learned that I cannot watch soccer in English. It has to be in Spanish. I am part of the not the few, the everybody that has Peacock, so that's how you watch the World Cup, and it's on Telemundo. And now I'm obsessed with Telemundo. Like, do I speak Spanish? No. Am I obsessed with watching sports in Spanish now? Absolutely. I like the excitement and the fuck knows what they're saying, but they're excited about it. And I'm here for it. I think, like one of the greatest philosophies that I teach is that a lot of people get lost in this world, and they get lost in their business, their careers, their life because they stop experiencing joy. And the World Cup has been so cool because we're getting to watch joy magnetized over and over and over again. Even, um, we're when I'm recording this, we're in knockouts right now, and like it is actually kind of sad and depressing watching these grown men just absolutely cry and lose their minds because their team has been eliminated. Um, but so that like, but also like, there are no good or bad emotions. So it's actually kind of like not healing, but like it's really cool to watch the human experience and get to experience it on a grand scale. Like, I live in Dallas Fort Worth, so we see people cry over sports all the time because Dallas Cowboys suck. Um, so people here cry for that all the time, but it's just different. It's different watching it from the grand stage. It's different watching it from a global standpoint. And then also, it's really sad too because then it's like our cousins are going home now. Like they're leaving. And then also, like, obviously, because I am American through and through, I was like, yay, go Team USA. But then also, I'm like, go Colombia, not New Zealand, go Norway, because of the massive Viking who is the kindest human that ever existed on the planet. Like, it has just exposed so many people to the joys that are, coming together for your country, coming together for your sport. I also really enjoy, and I'm kind of saying this because someday I'm going to look back on this and be like, oh yeah, I enjoyed the fact that it was happening during the 250th anniversary of America, because obviously we're insane when it comes to, like, we're not as insane as other countries, but we're weird. So they're here in the country during that celebration, seeing bald eagles on display at Walmart. It's just, oh, it has been really cool to experience and just live. One of the things that I saw too is somebody had said, we're all really sad for the World Cup to end because the World Cup gave us a reason to gather. More and more people are coming together. I will say that I've spent more time with my people this summer than we ever have before. And it's not even necessarily World Cup related. Um, but we're getting together and watching games, or it's always on, and we're together, we're spending more time. I think that, 6 years post pandemic, one of the things, it wasn't even 6 years post pandemic, it was during the pandemic where we realized how important it was to have our people and to gather and to have experiences. And we're 6 years post, and we're still kind of in the healing portion. It takes about 7 years for a healing cycle to complete. So we're still in that healing portion, and we're realizing how important it actually is for the for us to have community, to have our people, to be spending time, to not be hermits, to not be stuck inside. Like, even my introvert friends are like, hey, do you want to do something? And I'm like, that's when the world is healing. When even the introverts want to be more social and they want to be out. I love this season. This season is, for me personally, pretty difficult. My career is growing. I have to make certain hard life decisions. And so on the personal side, that's been kind of interesting, but also this season has just been so good. It has been filled with support. It has been filled with love. It has been filled with camaraderie. And I just I want to remember this season when the world healed a little bit, because, as soon as the World Cup is over and everyone goes home, then all of a sudden we're going to be fighting again and all this. But I really hope not. Also, I cannot wait for the Lifetime movies that are about to start coming out about 9 months from now, from all the people from countries who came here and had certain kinds of fun. So we're gonna have, one of my friends said, she's like, I can't wait to see the story of an Argentinian, yes, Argentinian, who fell in love with a man from Japan, and now they have a baby and they have to figure out all of this life. And so I can't wait. Writers, get to writing. Lifetime, do it. We need stories about the international love that happened. It was the biggest casting of Love Island ever. Prove me wrong. The World Cup created Love Island in real time. It's amazing. And I can't wait for the stories. So I'm going to need the writers. Shonda, somebody get Shonda on the phone. Get Shonda Rhimes on the phone and start writing that story about all of the different relationships and things that happened. Um, I saw another video. It was Gordon Ramsay making a joke like, all the CVS's and Walgreens are out of pregnancy tests in Boston because the Scots were there. Scots are a good time, and I wanted to go to Boston and see the Scots so bad, and didn't get to do that. But Godspeed to those women who potentially are going to be in an interesting situation in the next 9 months. Yeah, this human experience has been awesome. I can't wait for it to happen again in 2031. Is it 2031? Yes, 2031. The Men's Rugby World Cup is coming to America. So I'm hoping that our international cousins will come back and show up and show out for rugby, just like they did for soccer. Rugby is bigger internationally, so I would hope so. Here in the United States, we're doing our best and trying really, really hard to create an American rugby identity before 2021. We've had American rugby for a long time, and we haven't created an identity. We've built it around international identities. So I'm hoping that everybody shows up and shows out in 2031 for the Rugby World Cup. And if anything, that our cousins come back for a really big sleepover. I'm ready. I'm ready, friends. I'm ready. So that's what's been happening. What has my summer been? Working, kids playing and swimming in the pool, and the World Cup. That's what I've been doing. Um, with that being said, I'm not going to abandon you all again. Sumo, who you all know is my right hand man in the podcasting world, has consistently and regularly every week been like, are you going to talk to your people? And I'm like, I will. And then I get distracted. So here we are. We're back. And we're not going to be getting distracted anymore. And you know why? Because as of next week, what did I do here? As of next week, Say More Words will have been on the air for 3 years, which is wild to me. It was a dream of mine to have a podcast, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And then Sumo was like, I will help you. And so, because he helped me, and this is why having really good people in your life matters, because he helped me, the podcast exists. It's out. We are climbing the charts in self help, which is really hard. And I like to tell people that it's important for them to know that it's in self help because it's one of the hardest categories to grow in. Like, I'm going against Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and Trent Shelton. Like, I'm going against some of the biggest names that hopefully one day are going to be my friends. Mark my words. Okay. Someday I'm going to be friends with these people and be on their podcasts and be in their world. But that's who I'm going against. And we've built a really strong podcast and really strong podcast community. And I'm just super thankful that you all show up every week to listen to me yap about nonsense. Sometimes it's about stuff that's relevant. Sometimes it's about hard things. Sometimes it's about the fun things. And sometimes it's about our international cousins. And it's great. And I love it here. So thank you for 3 years. There's going to be a 3 years podcast coming out next week. And we're going to do Say More Words live here in Dallas. And we're going to record and we're going to party and we're going to celebrate the fact that this vessel exists and that I've been yapping now for 7 years. My business has existed for 7 years. And I yap and y'all let me. And sometimes you talk back. And I'm so appreciative. I'm appreciative of the summer. I'm appreciative of the easy and the hard and the good and the bad and all of the things that I've gotten to experience here in this world with you. And here's to many, many more years of yapping, many more years of celebrity guests and everyday guests and people just doing what I ask them to do, and that's to say more words. Just say more words. Tell your story. You never know who's going to need to hear it. Tell your story. You never know who is going through something similar and just needs to hear that somebody else survived it. Just say the words. So, thank you for 3 years of Say More Words. I will see you next week. I will not be in World Cup attire because the World Cup will be over and I will be sad, but I will be here. And you will too. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.